questions for you. Good morning, Uncle Peter. Seedy is giving you lots of misinformation. What he said about NAPSA was not. NAPSA was created to undermine GAMSU to serve the interest of Yaya Jammeh. His claim that he was at the launching of Barrow's youth movement and at buffer zone and gave a statement is not correct. Barrow said it's him, Seedy, who took Tombong Jatta to him in 2017 and told him they wanted to support him, but the only solution was to break up with UDP, and Seedy himself confirmed that today. Remember in 2017 when Dabo was the foreign minister and everyone saw how the relationship between Dabo and Barrow was. In 2017, UDP was not even talking about the leadership of the party because Seedy and Tombong and other APRC members didn't feel comfortable with the new government because of their relationship with Jammeh. So they acted smart and approached Barrow, and unfortunately they succeeded in getting him. That's why he doesn't want to discuss the 2016 history with you. Either he speaks about it or not. Gambians know what he did in 2016. Why he didn't tell you, he also served as a minister in 2016 after election. Can you ask him between Jammeh and Barrow, who's better and why, if you were to compare?
Thank you very much, Uncle Peter. That is why we are very happy as a government. Mm-hmm. People should enjoy the liberty, the freedom and democracy that President Barrow continued to nurture and also and ensought. And these kind of questions are never heard of under the former government.
True.
And we appreciate President Adama
This
Barrow
kind of program was
never heard of. So that alone, I'm telling him, let him continue to enjoy our democracy, to enjoy our development as a ruling party. And let me tell him that whatever I said, he knows me or people know me. I don't lie. Let him go to the archive of Buffer Zone, the Barrow Youth for National Development launching, and he will see my statement. We don't want to go into what they are saying, but we want to thank them for disagreeing with us on the path of the truth. We are on the path of the truth. We are on the path of development. We are on the path of revolution. They don't want to associate themselves with us. We are not sentiment. We are not emotional. We are not tribalist. We are not angry people. We are happy people. We are progressive people. We are positive people. We are development-oriented people. We are democratic people. We are peace-loving people, and that's what the Gambian people. That's why they choose us over them. So we are happy, and that you cannot compare President Adama Barrow with any other Gambian president. You know that. You cannot compare President Barrow with any other executive member of the United Democratic Party.
You're assuming that the texter is a UDP supporter.
He's a UDP. I want to tell him. That's why Gambian people, I want him to do his own survey. Why Gambian elected us with an absolute majority in 2021. And ask him, why are they angry? Why are they sentimental? Why are they emotional? Why are they tribalist? Why are they ridiculing people? Why are they insulting people? Why are they fighting people? I want to ask him that. I want to ask him, why didn't he recognize the mammoth infrastructural development of the Gambian, of the government of the Gambia? I want to ask him, the infrastructural development, energy, health, education, agriculture, women empowerment, youth empowerment, the list goes on. But the transformation and total emancipation of our higher education sector, science and technical schools, university of science, vocational and technical, university of engineering, University of Allied Health Sciences, University of Humanities, Universities of Education, University of Agriculture, with infrastructure, modern infrastructure that can stand any developed country. Hundreds of scholars, or even thousands almost, annually, to poor people, to sons and daughters of farmers, the likes of Seedy Njie's fathers, who could not send their children to higher education. That's what we want to talk about. We are not talking about sentiment, about personal issues. President Barrow said, let's get in there and tell people our programs. We have done enough. As a opposition political party, UDP, I want him to tell people. Let him ask me a question to say.
Again, I
as
say
a party,
this,
we have done this.
The person did not indicate that they are UDP supporting.
It's UDP. Don't mind him.
Okay, let's move on to the next. Uncle Peter, please ask your guest to clarify why his government has forcefully asked citizens to demolish their houses for road construction without giving people money to do so before the demolition.
Thank you very much.
It was claimed that OIC has given money for these compensation, and we, as affected citizens, have still not been compensated. Is this good governance or cheating? How can this disservice to the people be justified?
Thank you. We are also proud and want to commend the president for being the first president who conceived the ideas of widening our roads, the idea of constructing roads. We want to thank him. He talks about road construction. Mm-hmm. So therefore, he agreed with us that road construction is taking place everywhere. Mm-hmm. And this government have given notice to every household or compounds along the stretches of roads that have been constructed or farmland. Mm-hmm. And I want to tell him, in fact, even in rural Gambia, where electric poles are dug in farms, those farm owners, they have been compensated. Mm-hmm. And we want to tell him that Gambia government, with the Ministry of Works, Infrastructure, the Ministry of Finance, Fiscal Planning and Lands, government under the leadership of His Excellency President Adama Barrow has given strong warning and clear direction that before compensation is made, especially these families where the owners have died and it's a huge family, they all must organize, must seek legal documentations, and through rigorous process that will ensure that every benefactor or who would be beneficiary of that have consented and has gone through the normal process and procedures legally to avoid sending money to the wrong people. And we want to tell him that, of course, it's always a challenge for government to get all the resources that we want and to do it on time. We would have even built skyscrapers, roads in the country if we would have. But we will never demolish anyone's compound in the Gambia and promise to compensate, and will never do so. Maybe it's the process is slow, but there are so many people who has been compensated. We also agree there are people also, compensation is ongoing, and there are people also, we have not started the process, but we will get there.
You're being listened to from all over, and here's Tombong Seedy pushing back on behalf of the UDP. Good morning, Peter. It is sad that Honorable Seedy Njie is misleading the public once again. Honorable Seedy Njie's claim that the UDP killed the 2020 Constitution is false and deliberately misleading. The truth is clear. It was President Barrow and his collaborators in the National Assembly, including members of the NRP and defectors from the UDP, who sabotaged the draft. At the time, the UDP did not have an absolute majority. In fact, the party had already expelled members who had betrayed its principles and aligned themselves with Barrow's agenda. History will remember that it was this unholy alliance that denied Gambians a new constitution, not the UDP. And Honorable Seedy Njie's comparisons are misleading. Yes, rice and fuel may be cheaper in the Gambia than in some neighboring countries, but he conveniently ignores the fact that salaries and per capita income in those countries are significantly higher. A fair comparison must consider the overall cost of living and income levels, not just isolated prices.
I want to thank Uncle Peter for listening to me. I'm happy because they know very well that...
You mean Uncle Tombong?
Yeah, Uncle Tombong. I want to thank him for listening to me because they know that I have the stuff, I know what I'm saying, and I'm an important person in this country, and I want to thank him for recognizing that. But I want to admonish him to move away from being delusional, from living in the past and deception, to come to light and come and join us. And every Gambian, even...
To come and join you? Is there any indication that Tombong...
To come and join the National People's Party. You see, he must move away from falsehood to the truth. Uncle Peter, every Gambian, even my daughter and my sons and my grandchildren, they knew very well that UDP was the absolute majority in Parliament from 2017 to 2020.
He said by the time they had kicked out 8 members of their...
Uncle Peter, we all know is the truth. What Uncle Uncle Tombong should have done was to acknowledge the fact that they have not prioritized the interests of the Gambian people when they are the majority in parliament, and apologize to Gambian and promise that in the event that until doomsday, because they will never be the majority again in parliament, but he should apologize to say that it is correct. We were the majority in parliament. Wallahi, lumo wa hamna ne lolu amut. Tombong said what I'm saying is the truth.
Yeah, but they lost the majority going into the vote on the constitution because at least 8 of them had been expelled from the party.
No, it's not true. They were all UDP. Why did they expel them from their party? Why?
Because they had aligned themselves with President Barrow's agenda, he says. Don't
mind Tombong. He cannot play with the intelligence mind. He can't play with my mind. He can't play with the mind of 7 years old Gambians. Ñun ñepp ang fi won loi bu nda laaj ko nañu wax luma wax fen la nda du fen.
That's what he says.
Luma wax fen la nda du fen. ñoo nekkoon majority bi in parliament ndax change nañ upper limit bi pour suit ANM Ousainou Darboe ndax change nañ ko wallahi change nañ ko wallahi and ñoom they were in the majority or they were not in majority wallahi they were the majority. But me, I don't want to belabor on that fallacious and that ignoramus statement from Uncle Tombong Seedy. I want to tell him. He talks about the capital, whatever, from the other country. I want to thank him for acknowledging the increment of salaries. We have never, and we will never say that the economy of the Gambia is equal to the economy of the United States. We will never say that. We have never said that. We want to be clear. We want to tell him that despite the fact that we have no natural resources, we are judiciously and prudently making best use of our resources to advancement of the welfare of the Gambian people, which he cannot deny, which he is a benefactor. I want him to tell us, as being a mouthpiece of the United Democratic Party, what have they done in this country besides having a militia armament with black
militia
going around, of course.
Militia army?
Yes, armed men. Armed men.
Oh, wow.
Going around the country claiming that Fulas, Wolof, Sarahules, Jolas, they will not get voters cards. Some of them, they are from Guinea and other countries. That is very barbaric. It's outdated. We are clamping down on that. We are interested in getting people what will move this country from where it is to another level. That is why we are able today to proudly say that as a president and as a government, we have transformed this country. That Uncle Tombong Seedy and the United Democratic Party membership supporters and every other political party's members on support are benefactors of the mammoth transformation of this country. Our trajectory, our vision, our mission, our focus is on delivering services to the people. And we will not waver, we will not be distracted by emotion, by sentiment, by deception, by fallacy, and by delusional behaviors like Uncle Tombong and others are behaving.
Here's another one. Tell Seedy, let NPP say whatever they want to say, but one thing I know, a lot of Gambians regretted voting Barrow and UDP, understood the methods they used to steal the 2021 election, and they proved that in the subsequent elections after the presidential election in 2021 by winning in popular votes and winning all the greater Banjul areas. They will never like Darboe because they saw him as a stumbling block to get to Barrow for their own interests, because Darboe hates corruption and was trying to protect Barrow from them, but unfortunately, Barrow didn't get this and listened to them. That's why the government is full of corruption, and he can do anything, and he can't do anything about it other than promoting the same people who are accused of corruption because they are corrupted themselves.
That is not true. He can't say we are promoting or supporting people who are alleged to have been corrupt. You know, it's very unfortunate, and I want to thank him for listening. He has not voted for us, but certainly he will vote for us in 2026 elections. But what I'm saying...
With all these sentiments against him?
Of course. You know, sometimes when you speak or you're right, but you cannot deny what the eye is saying. The heart can't deny the fact. You might be behind the keyboard typing, but you have seen the truth. Barrow is incorruptible, and we are committed to fighting corruption. As I said, I stated earlier on, you see, we want due process. The very people who are shouting corruption, corruption, arrest them. If Barrow would have only sit in his comfort zone and they announced that there was an audit query or something, he said, go and arrest them and put them in mile 2. They will complain that he's a dictator, he's jailing people, political prisoners, whatever. But the president said, let's do due process. Audit has been carried on. The National Assembly has instituted a special select committee to look into those allegations. And the Office of the Inspector General of Police is investigating those audit queries that are not inconsistent with management responses and or management letters to further ascertain what happened, what went wrong, how, and then, of course, send in. We've been informed that some of the files have been sent into the Attorney General chambers to advise government and let them know that Parliament doesn't have prosecutorial powers, or the Office of the Auditor General doesn't have prosecutorial powers. We have complete separation of powers, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. In the course of implementation of government services and program, and of course, spending public funds, the executive arm of government, they are subjected to audit. When they are audited, as I said, all the process and procedures come to Parliament and then goes back to the President and proposal. And the President have acted on the proposal, instructing the Inspector General of Police to further investigate those that have been alleged. It's an allegation. We cannot just, somebody cannot just be alleged and we bundle them up and throw them in jail. That's what they said they were fighting for in 2016 and 2017. They want us to put an end to that. And the president has completely put an end to that. But there is a procedure and processes. It's ongoing. And President Barrow will never, he will not, and no member of the NPP government would support, harbor, or protect anyone found wanting by the Office of the Inspector General of Police.
Yeah, the problem is, the process is so slow. Everybody's everybody points to the Abasanyan case and asks, where are we going with that?
No. You see, process of audits is very complex and tedious. Yeah. And in fact, it's unfortunate we don't have...
And if it takes forever, the case will never come to court.
It will never. It's unfortunate that we don't have forensic audit. For instance, if auditors make an opinion of certain opinion, when you looked at it, to the eye of ordinary person like me and others, laymen in accounting, will say, oh, there is a corruption. But when you further investigate, backed by documentation and forensic audit, you may find out that it may not necessarily be as indicated. But it is this government that also, there are a lot of people also who are paying back, who have been deducted for impresses and monies that they handle, but they could not be accounted for. It's ongoing. I think the Minister of Finance should inform the Gambian people. Okay. We'll get the Office of the Attorney General and the Inspector General of Police should tell people so far. But I can assure you that the government, the Interior Ministry, through the police, the Attorney General, and the President, and the National Assembly, we are committed to fighting corruption.
Hi, Uncle Peter. I only ask Honorable Njie to please qualify the reasoning behind the hike of the rates for vying for the presidency, National Assembly membership, and councillorship.
The members of Parliament and, of course, the owners of the bill thought that is important because when you do a benchmarking in most jurisdictions, you realize that our deposit is a drop in the ozone of 10,000. So they thought that it's important to attach and to increase the deposit, taking into account of how important the office of president is. Of course, we want reasonably for every other individual to be able to vie for public office and or be elected for public offices and to vote in. But also, we must also reasonably take into account of the importance of those offices and put up operational mechanism that will be used as a procedure and processes to get people who probably qualified to vie. It's just like you want to say that there is no educational requirement. There shouldn't be educational requirement, because if you do, you are reasonably denying most Gambians the opportunity to vie for elections. So it's just like somebody to say, let's say there is no educational background. You must be only a Gambian, and that's it. You should be able to contest as a president or a member of parliament. So all those requirements are there to sanitize and also to give credentials and dignity to those positions. That is why, for once to acquire voters card, you have to be 18 years. If not, they will say, even if you are 1 day old, you should vote.
Mr. Njie, why do we still have economic troops in our country? They have done a good job by ensuring the exit of Jammeh and preventing the possible instability that could have followed. We say thanks to the spirit of regional togetherness. Now that your own government is claiming the Gambia to be stable and democratic, why are foreign troops still on our soil? Asks Ibrahim Baji.
You see, Mr. Baji, I want to thank him and tell him my opinions are that if I were to attend to the authority of heads of state of ECOWAS, I would have suggested to them that they should have ECOWAS mission and standby force in every member state to be able to keep the peace, to be able to help nurture democracy, to be able to help protect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of all member states, because it's about integrations. For instance, like what is happening in the Sahel areas, some other Sahel countries, it's very unfortunate. We have the Islamists, we have insurgencies, we have change of governments.
So ECOWAS will ensure that we don't have, Islamists, infiltrating into the country.
No, I'm just further explaining what would have been my opinion to them. They would have had those things, then ECOMIX or any, you may call it, any other force in a country, for instance, if there was that cooperation in Mali, or in Burkina Faso, or
they had the French in Mali.
No, I'm just telling you. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about outside. I said ECOWAS. He talked about ECOWAS force here in the Gambia. They would have given them the power to work with that government and flush out those insurgencies.
ECOWAS can do that.
I said if I were part of the authority of heads of state, of government in their meeting, I would have suggested that to them.
That's what I'm saying. So ECOWAS, force
yes,
like we
exactly.
have would have helped.
Would have helped sitting governments and flush out insurgencies.
Yeah. Okay. In reality, good day, Uncle Peter and Honorable. In reality, the NPP as the ruling party is very defensive and hardly accepts criticism, even on their most apparent shortcomings, like inflation, corruption, etc. This is not how leadership works at all. You have to learn to accept the points of the people, whether you're major opposition or supporters. If not, you are claiming perfection. The major problem of the NPP is they always say, that's not true, that's not true. I've not heard them ever accept criticism without downplaying it.
You know, the major problem of some of them is being emotional and sentimental. If he had listened, I said I agree inflation, I agree the economic challenges will continue, and they are there. I told him. In fact, I said I agree bag of rice 20 years ago and today is not the same, and it will continue to increase. And I said, but we are putting up mechanism, and I highlighted some of those mechanisms that we want to do. I'm not sure whether he was listening or not.
Okay.
Nobody will agree that bag of rice 20 years ago and today is the same.
Okay.
Nobody will agree there is no inflation.
Seedy, it's 3 minutes to 11 o'clock. I can't keep you here all day. Just finally, what might you like to say?
I want to state that the National People's Party, under the leadership of His Excellency, Secretary General and Party Leader, President Adama Barrow, condemned in the strongest possible terms the assassin made by the chairman of the Brikama Area Council, Yankuba Dabo, that comes election day, calling on all UDP supporters, cast their votes, march straight to the State House, and remove undemocratically the substantive and the incumbent, His Excellency President Adam Barrow, from power. That is inflammatory, is dangerous, is anti-democratic, is calling for violence, and we bemoan that, and we call on the leadership of the United Democratic Party, ANM Hussein Dabo, to condemn such irresponsible, such comment that are intended to soil the democracy that we continue to nurture and build. And that as a National People's Party, His Excellency President Adama Barrow has urged on all National People's Party to go in all out to campaign election in accordance with the Election Act, ethics, code of conduct, and due process. When they cast in their votes, get back to their houses, wait for the competent authority, the Independent Electoral Commission, to announce the elections, and then we will celebrate.
Let me just point out that the UDP has denied that that was the intention of Yankuba Dabo.
We have not seen that formal communique from the United Democratic Party.
Well,
we want them to issue a statement and condemn such.
Okay, that's clear. You want them to issue a statement, but it was denied on this program.
We want them to issue a statement and condemn such statement. We know that the UDP is always known for attacking people and for because we had them. They said they will render the country ungovernable, but we don't want them to render this country unelectionable. We want them to go to elections if they believe in themselves. We agree. For us, delivering services is not a crime, and for Gambian people to love us. They want us not to deliver so that they win. We will continue to deliver. And that statement they are making is very outrageous, and we condemn it in the strongest possible term. And of course, we had what Lamin Mane also indicated here. These are very dangerous statements.
What did he indicate here?
He was here
and what did he say that was dangerous?
In your statement, he also talked about the elections, that we rigged the 2021 elections.
Oh yeah, he said that.
And
yes. They say that always.
And we are putting up.
They insist that the 2021 election was rigged.
That's
they say that openly.
The election.
So what's dangerous about that?
The election is rig-proof, and that because they are saying we are also going to rig the 2026 presidential elections. What they should do is to honorably concede defeat when they are defeated, and that they challenged the elections. We went to court, and it was thrown out of court, and that they knew that Gambians want to re-elect us. We want us to go to the 2026 election violence-free. And for us, we want every member of parliament, sorry, this is not parliament, every member of the National People's Party to be guarded with their words, not a misguided statement as that of Yankuba Dabo, and unguided statement as that of Yankuba Dabo and Mane, that the president stated clearly, we must abide by it, the rule of the game, respect the rule of law. We must respect people. We must be civil in our political discourse. We must respect our people. We must denounce tribalism. We must denounce hooliganism. We must denounce every form of violence in this country.
Alaji Seedy Njie, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you, Uncle Peter.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Excellent jam, Suwaid.
Yo, Abla, yo, luta do de. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bisul mu fay.
What?
Bisul mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave. Bisul mu fine. Wave. Your money is yours.